I'm going to hit record now. Nikki's on camera now. And you want to start or?
Yeah, well, I showed up to your house today to record, and you and our guest coming in. I'm not even going to tell y'all what time it is, but they had some whiskey set out. They were smoking cigars. Yeah, I was like, what is happening?
Welcome to parenthood.
And then I joined.
The only one with whiskey in here, I might add.
I like to enjoy it, actually, not shoot it like you Neanderthals.
You have whiskey and coffee.
I do.
Just FYI. Nikki, do you want to go ahead and introduce our guest? Would you like to do that? Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so glad you're here. We have a special guest today. We told y'all we were going to have somebody special, and this is the only guy who said yes, right?
He's the only guy we asked.
These are all lies.
We had to beg.
You had great guests lined up, and you were like, well, I guess we got to bring Chris in.
Well, I just gave it away there. All right.
Chris Kirkpatrick, everyone.
I know I'm your go-to. When you're desperate.
You're our favorite.
I'm your desperation.
This is the second time we've interviewed you.
I know.
This is the second time. Everyone, Chris Kirkpatrick, hi.
Hey. Yay.
Good to see you, buddy. We had a chance to catch up a little bit before we started recording, and I want to. We probably should not have talked. We probably should have just
I should have just recorded that.
But anyway, Nikki, you called up Chris and invited him on the show there because I knew
if you called me that I would not do it.
Chris's schedule's never open for me, but as soon as you invited him, he was like.
But also,
you tell me the time.
I've been asking Neil to call you and text you for probably 2 weeks. Like, we got to do it. We got to do it. You know what he said last week or earlier this? Yeah, it was Monday. I was like, did you talk to Chris? And he said, yeah, we'll talk. We'll do it next week. And I was like, Neil, it's Monday.
Oh, is that why you text me and said we need to do cigars?
So
he said I lost a whole weekend.
Hold on a second.
No, that is not.
You tricked me then.
I did not trick you.
Because I thought this was a friends thing at first. You're like, dude, we need to catch up. We need to do cigars. I'm like, yeah, cool. Yep. Just tell me when. Then Nikki texted me, hey, can you do the show? I was like, oh.
See?
Well, first of all, I haven't seen you in a year and a half because you're always traveling. You're always on the road. So, and secondly, I did just want to catch up with you and find out what you're doing. And yes, it was going to come up during that conversation.
Okay, but let's be honest too. That's like I need something from somebody. I'm gonna call them and start talking small talk first because you don't want to just come in and go, hey,
I need a favor.
Come to the show.
Yeah.
And if we weren't this close, we wouldn't talk about this. But no, I do it all the time. You're like, hey, how you been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know if I'm on this tour and I'm coming to somebody's town in like a week or two, I start to get the text, hey, bro, haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on?
Oh, good to hear from you.
A while, like maybe 3 years.
But shouldn't we just all accept that? I mean, I don't get mad when people do that. I'm like, whatever. Like, we're all busy. Do you care?
Heck no.
No.
Are you kidding me? No.
People who do are.
Truth be told, that was the plan.
I know.
Okay. All right. I don't want to sit here and ignore what you just said, but that is truthfully the plan. But I haven't seen you. I love you, and I haven't seen you.
Truth be told, when you did it like that, I started to freak out a little bit. Like, what's he going through? What does he need?
Because normally,
because you there's something going on.
Here we go.
So,
I'm gonna get off the cliff.
Chris and I have only been through 6 midlife crises for me, and he's talked me down each and every time.
And
so this makes a lot of sense. So
now it's.
Can we talk about how y'all first met? Because this is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
When you met at the hockey game.
Yeah, we met at the hockey game. We'd only been here maybe a year. Or so.
2017.
Yep, and we were friends with the same person, who is absolutely amazing, Zach Pillar.
Yep.
And we were at the game. I think with Zach, and
that's right.
You were coming down the stairs. I was going up the stairs.
Yeah.
And we both just went,
hey! Neil said, "You're that guy from NSYNC," and you said, "You're that guy from the news."
Yeah.
I was totally shocked. It's like when someone
you don't think people actually know,
you're kind of like,
that's what I thought.
This is like really kind of cool.
That's what I said. Somebody famous just recognized me, like the guy that I watch all the time.
Stop it.
And then it was like, keep us apart.
It's a true bromance, though, with y'all.
It was a total bromance.
It's
and
true.
All his friends became my friends. All my friends became his friends.
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. If you're friends with Chris.
My ex-friends.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that hurts so much.
Thanks for letting me into the bromance.
Yeah, you'll do.
I'll do.
We're gonna start. Aren't we gonna start calling you Bikini Nikki?
What?
Bikini Nikki.
Bikini Nikki.
Why are y'all hating on me?
We're not hating on you.
I don't think that's hate.
That's not hate.
I think that's kind of like, why didn't you wear a bikini to the interview?
Well, I came from my daughter's school play, and I think at a church I probably couldn't have worn a bikini. So
that's old-fashioned.
Okay.
yeah.
It's not like they take up a lot of room in the purse, Nikki. Okay, we totally get it. But
Okay,
anyway,
next time.
Next
time. Or maybe if Neil would build a pool like he's been promising for years.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Or if you will invite me over to your pool.
Don't do a pool.
No.
He's never, and I get pictures of y'all over there hanging out. Never gotten an invite.
In our mankinis.
It's cute.
Look, whenever I hang out with Chris at his pool, I usually end up with an injury. Okay, so that's why.
I feel like there's a story here. No, I need it.
A story.
There's several.
There are several injury stories with Neil at the pool. One of them was, I don't know what we were doing.
I know what you're doing.
No, not that one. I'm saying the one where you were going down the side.
Oh, okay. You're going to do broken ribs first.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Do broken ribs first. Okay.
Broken ribs first. He was going down. We have steps down to the backyard. He was going down the steps.
Misstepped. My flip flopped.
I don't know if you hit any steps.
No.
With your feet.
With my feet.
You hit all the steps with your ribs and your head and everything.
Oh my gosh.
And broke his ribs and had to golf the next week or something.
So, all right. So it was the day before I was going to Miami to play golf for 4 days.
Tan for Miami.
What year was this?
This was like a big golf event there with a bunch of.
I think, back when golf was first invented. You used to have a sand tee.
It's in St. Andrews. It's cute.
I was wearing my slides. I was wearing slides and folded underneath, and I just went face first down these stairs to a gate.
Was it another morning whiskey session?
No. That's unfortunately.
No. Let's just say no. Say no. No is more.
And I crashed through the gate at the bottom of the rock stairs.
Yeah.
It opened up, and I was laid out on their backyard.
Oh, you were legitimately hurt.
Oh, he was really hurt.
I got up. I had scrapes all over me. I had pain in my side that I just couldn't believe.
Oh, my God.
And I had to leave the next day to play golf. And I didn't know I had broken ribs at the time. Okay? So I'm down there.
Trooper, bro.
I played 4 days of golf.
He's something.
Broken ribs.
Not one, 2 broken ribs.
But those 120-yard drives were killer.
So you played? How did you play?
It was the most pain I've ever been in on a golf course.
But did you play well?
I don't think I played. No, I didn't play well.
That's disappointing.
I have it's 18 holes. I have 1 or 2 games.
Then there was another time where there definitely was probably whiskey involved, and him and I decided to do synchronized swimming.
Oh, that's cute.
And we were doing wasn't it the lift from
Dirty Dancing?
And I probably, at the time, I definitely had to lift you because you definitely could have lifted me. Or maybe we were just doing a flippy flop together or something. And anyways, we both ended up going face down into the bottom of the pool. And when we came up, he looked like Lloyd Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
From Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked like Freddy Krueger because I just had blood all over my face, and he was like, "Hey, what's wrong?"
Is that when you chipped your tooth the first time?
We both looked at each other and started laughing because the other one was he's laughing at me, and we all touched our face and got blood.
Oh my gosh!
And we were like, "You should see the other guy." I'm like, "I did." I was looking right at him.
So it was. I remember that we were both standing on the side of the pool, and we both at the exact same moment decided to tackle each other. So our arms were around tackling.
A true love story.
You know what? That probably makes more sense. Synchronized swimming is a better story.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we were doing.
Then we saved a bunch of.
But we were
kids
doing
in a
the
bus.
synchronized entry into the pool.
That's
so
what
it was.
Okay.
That.
Okay.
So anyway, that was lots of money later and new teeth later.
Yeah.
And,
Well, you came into work with a chipped tooth, and you wore a chipped tooth on TV for quite some time.
Well,
is that the same chipped tooth?
Yeah.
Or unless there was another
the
chipped
two
tooth.
front teeth chipped, and if you remember, I also had a big cut across my lip, which I would have to pancake makeup on in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Don't. I thought that was. Never mind.
No, that's what. You thought it was what?
Does it rhyme
Something
with
else.
Burpees?
Yeah, I thought it was.
That is disgusting. No.
Why is Neil always caking powder all over
Is
his
there something
mouth?
around his mouth?
That's just
So
wrong.
weird. You couldn't grow the goatee to hide it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I could tackle you now in the pool, lift you up in the pool because you're thin.
You are thin.
Every time I see you, you get thinner and thinner.
It doesn't matter. We'll still end up with cuts and bruises.
That's the next episode. Let's record it at your pool, and we'll reenact this.
We've been asking you to come to the pool since we started.
I'm in. Only if you do the dirty dancing with each other.
Done.
Okay.
That's easy.
Done. Yeah,
Carly and I are just, and Carrie and I are just going to point and laugh.
We're good at that now.
We are good at that now.
Nailed.
All right,
You're building a studio, Chris.
Yeah.
I want to hear about this because it's 10 years in the making.
10 years in the making, yep, down in Eagleville.
Because this is why you moved here.
This is why we moved here. We had.
He doesn't move fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah. Ask a lot of people. I'm not a quick. But so we came down here to put in a studio, and it was Nashville. So when we got here almost 10 years ago, it was like, why are we building a studio? My neighbor has a studio. This guy has a studio, so we didn't do the studio. So I had all this equipment, put it in my garage, and then one day my wife said, "Boy, I sure would like to park my car in our garage." So we got a storage unit.
Oh wait, we lost Chris for. Try your phone.
I'm getting a call.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, we'll get you back here in a second. Hold on. You got to get back into the app. It's on Nikki anyway, Nikki. So you just smile. Take a sip of your drink.
Okay.
Right,
which one?
Which
one should I do?
Right hand.
Right hand. Okay.
Where is this? Oh, because it's not like I just have one app on my phone too. What was it called?
It's Sling Studio. So, anyway, so he's building this studio, and it's going to be.
Now I got to reverse.
Here it is. It's coming to you.
We'll get it.
We're close.
Hey!
We're close.
There he is.
There he is. All right. So
now we've got some great guys involved, and we're putting. He had a studio in this spot, and now the tenant left, so we're moving in, and we want all four of us to be involved in the studio. And first of all, I couldn't ask for 3 better partners. And I couldn't ask for a better location, better everything. So who knows? Maybe when this airs, it'll fall through, and we wouldn't have done it.
No, I've been asked to ask you this question by a certain woman that I live with, Carrie, and the question is, are you going to do some country music? No.
Why not?
No. Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt. Don't understand. I mean, listen,
that was the question that I had. Was mandated?
You can do anything.
I will tell you honestly. First of all, I did country music.
Wait,
I was on the show Gone Country. I lived here. You knew this.
I definitely didn't know this.
You didn't know this.
Oh,
look at it. I mean, for God's sake,
here's the
everything.
thing.
What do you?
I definitely didn't know.
Now Carrie's going to skewer me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't remember this. I've forgotten more stuff that we've talked about than I remember what we talked about there.
Most of the conversations we were supposed to forget about.
Yeah. But probably for the best.
No, I was on the show Gone Country season 3.
Yeah.
I think it was. And I lived at Fontenelle.
Yep.
And was here for like a couple months. And it was funny because at the time we got to do so much. I mean, John Rich is amazing.
Yeah.
And what they did with that show, it's like, they want to get you country, right? They don't know that I'm from a trailer park in Pennsylvania. So I don't know if that's country, but you can't get any more like country
redneck.
Than that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's trailer trash. There's levels. You got rednecks, you got white trash, then you have trailer trash.
Oh, okay.
You're trailer trash. Okay.
Rednecks go to 4-wheel, monster truck,
okay.
NASCAR. White trash
Nikki,
go as their plus ones.
Ask him to describe his truck.
Describe your truck for me, please.
What do you mean?
You're got the big pickup truck now.
That's lifted and
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure you can't get it out of you.
I've always had trucks.
Okay, all right.
But and then so trailer trash is the rednecks plus one.
Okay.
So when they go to an event, they're like, okay, I'm bringing my buddy Chip. And trailer trash, trailer trash are the ones that they come home to and brag to about how cool the event was. And they're like, I wish I was there. I was standing outside, tailgating, which means somebody gave me a beer, kind of thing. So that was, I grew up really poor.
Where in Pennsylvania?
Clarion, Pennsylvania. It's about an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a college there. So it's a college town, but even the college is kind of suffering.
It's really small.
Which is hard because that's where my whole family, and we had a glass plant there. It was a big blue collar town for the glass plant. The glass plant shut down, and when that shut down, the city's just kind of But it's beautiful. You've got hills, mountains, rivers, all this stuff. It's a great town to be from. not a great town to live in anymore.
Not a great town to build a studio in now.
Yeah. The clientele is, don't get a lot of walk-ins.
Never know. You never know. It might be a diamond in the rough.
Clarion. Hey, what are you doing? No, we're just driving to Clarion.
But are you allowed to talk about like what you want to do in the future as far as studio work and stuff like that?
Like, what's the point of it?
Talk about anything.
Yeah, tell us what you're going to do with it.
Well, you are huge into helping kids.
Yeah.
Prosper and kids that are from
which is one thing we could talk about.
Yeah.
Okay,
I want to.
Okay, I want to ask you about that because it's so you and so what you're about. You've always talked this way to me. It's always been something that's endearing to me about you, about helping kids that don't have the opportunities get the opportunities, and that's what you're going to do with this studio
it's
stuff.
Very Jelly Roll does the same thing. When you're there and you've lived it, you can talk to people with a lot more conviction than if you're just somebody coming in going, hey, you want to throw some money and do this and I actually, the first time I ever experienced that was with Rich Cronin from LFO.
Oh my gosh,
and him and I were doing a show together back in the day, which that one I won't talk about because it was horrible. He asked me to do it, that's why I did it.
Now we have to talk about it.
Rich was battling leukemia.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And he was in remission, he was doing great, and I remember during the show, we went to a children's hospital and walked up to some of the kids, and there were kids there with leukemia. And me talking to him was like, hey, buddy, what's going on? And they look at you and, thank you, this is great, whatever. But when Rich talked to those kids, saying, listen, I've been there, I've done that. When you see somebody that's been there, it changes your way of thinking. So that's why I work with a lot of underprivileged kids, a lot of kids that don't have anything, because I'm like,
you've been there.
I was there, man. Like, I don't understand the life I'm living now. I understand this life. Yeah. So I can tell you when we get groceries or we get food for, underprivileged families for Christmas or for whatever it is, I'm like, I don't go to the bottom shelf and get the bags of cereal. You get them the good stuff because that's what's important. So, being able to do that and talk to the kids. So working with Notes for Notes, I started last year. I was doing some press stuff, and they're like, oh, we're going to go to a Boys and Girls Club. I'm like, okay, cool. Go into the Boys and Girls Club, did some stuff with the kids, and then they brought me into the studio, and I'm like, what's this? And they're like, well, this is Notes for Notes. They build studios all across the country in Boys and Girls Clubs. So I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is something that if I would have had growing up, just walking into your Boys and Girls Club and seeing, like, even this setup or a studio where you're like, oh, what does this do? Or what does this do? And it gets you hands-on experience. First thing I thought was, this is Nashville. Why isn't this huge?
Yeah.
Right.
Because this town is such a great town, and they take on any kind of, organizations that need help. And the reason we moved here, the people are so great. Everybody loves to give back. And I was like, this should be huge here. Who are you guys working with? And they're like, no, it's just nonprofit. We're trying to make our money. And I started working with this guy, Phil, from Notes and Notes, who I meet with regularly now, and we're doing, talking about doing a benefit and doing all these things, and it was just a no-brainer. I mean, Jelly Roll was in there back in the day when he was first starting out, and he went in and did some stuff. They just had Post Malone, they've had Ed Sheeran. Some of these guys come in, and they see it, and it was the same thing to me. Like, you walk in, and you're like, why isn't this everywhere?
Why is this
everybody
huge?
Would love to contribute to this. Everybody would love to help out, and even my company that I had in Orlando, when we were working in the studio, my business partner and I would work for pizza sometimes because, these kids don't have money. A lot of these indie bands would come through and they're sleeping in their vans. And I'm like, hey, stay at the house. We got tons of room. We'd have parties and make it fun. So this was just like a no-brainer. Yeah. And it was really something that I looked at like, this would have been gold to me. And you never know that one kid that just doesn't have that outreach or that thing that they could do. It's different now that you can write songs on laptops and stuff. You can get laptops for kids. That's a little bit easier than it was back in my day. But just knowing that it's there and knowing that they can go in and pick up a guitar or sing in front of a microphone. Maybe the kid's never sang. He doesn't do choir at church or at school. Yeah. He's just like, hey, I don't know. And they go in and you're like, oh my God, like this is it. So it's a cool way to get these kids kids don't know if they want to be an engineer, you know.
Yeah, you just got to expose them to everything and see what
people
sticks.
that are the most amazing producers, engineers on the planet. Quincy Jones. Like, could you imagine if the next Quincy Jones walks in the room and this kid's like, you know, I thought music was just playing guitar and singing on a microphone. You know, I didn't realize there's all this other stuff to it. So it's been really cool and really eye-opening, and the kids are freaking amazing. I mean, it's good to work with them, and I produced a song with them. We're talking about doing an album. They always release an album, and I actually
with the kids.
With the kids, and I did a Christmas song last year for a buddy of mine for a favor, and the song kind of got a little traction, and people kind of liked it. So I was like, let's get the kids to do it. Like, it'll be great. So it fills those voids that you miss. Like, it's like, man, this is something that I could do that I love.
So what's next? Are you going around and putting more of these in different boys and girls clubs? Like, what's the ultimate plan?
So, you know, talking with Phil, it's Phil's brainchild. You know, he's the one that definitely, you know, does all the work on everything. And his dream would be to have a mobile studio that we could bring around, so you could come to any special events, bring it, and you could see what the kids are doing. You know, but more importantly, it's, you know, keeping the lights on in the place. Having a brick and mortar would be amazing, but then you're talking about rent and all these other things. So what he's doing is perfect for what it is, but it's still, you know, every month he's having to pay these, because he's got them, like I said, all across the country. And, you know, it's spinning plates. It's like, oh, this one's doing great. Oh, this one needs some help. We got to go help this one out. But just getting the kids in there and getting them to see what the music business is, and not making it a music business, making it music.
But this is all Chris, because what Chris is about, it's like especially when he talks about his son Nash. It's, I want him to have everything I didn't have when he was growing up. Like,
there's a fine line.
There's a fine line about that.
We've talked about before.
I know. You want him to.
You think, like, I feel like I grew up with great values. I think I've got a great head on my shoulder when it comes to, you know, giving back because of where I came from. And then I look at my kid and I'm like, you know, he's never had to worry about where his next meal was coming from. He's never had to worry about if the electric was going to get shut off. He didn't worry about, he didn't have a phone, he didn't have a car. You know, he's got everything. You know, it's like, oh, hey, Dad, I really like Home Alone. All right, cool. Let's take a trip to New York during Christmas and have a vacation out of it. So how do you make that kid have those values?
It's hard.
And we're all three of us go through it.
And he's like introduced his kid to all the biggest stars in the world. Too. So for Nash, it's just, you know,
another
normal
day.
to meet someone else.
Justin is Uncle, you know, Justin. You know, it's like no big deal, like whatever.
It's just another day.
Travis Kelce, you know, it's all these people. Post Malone, anybody he wants to meet, I'm like, all right, I got to find a way to let him meet him. And then I'm like, what a spoiled little brat.
No,
like,
because he doesn't act like it.
Yeah, he doesn't. And I think it comes down to giving him the values and saying, look, you get all this stuff, but I want you to be appreciative that you get all this
and
stuff.
then exposing him to the kids who don't.
Letting him go with me and go to some of these events and see, like, look, you know, this kid isn't any different than you.
Right.
You know, that's number one across the board. Understanding that, you know, this kid is not different than you. Because people look at it, oh, this kid's lower than me. You know, this kid needs this, whatever I can do. No, that kid's the same person you are. Circumstances or whatever it is puts you where you're at. Right. So it's cool to, like, have him understand that you got really lucky, dude.
For real.
Yeah. Well, when you're doing stuff like Songs for Songs, he'll see that.
Notes for notes.
Songs.
Sing me a song. That's
Mitch. That's right.
That's Mitch's
Notes for notes.
Sing me a song, which is awesome.
So, but you have a really cool story about Jelly Roll when he previewed a song which we all know now at Zany's, and I want to hear that's an amazing story.
Josh Wolf, a buddy of mine, who's a comedian. I used to go up and we used to do little bits, and I was supposed to do one a couple weeks ago with him, but we just couldn't get the song right, and he's really close with the Little Big Town guys with, you know, he just knows a lot of people in the business, and it's fun. And I remember a few years back, he was like, oh yeah, I've got Jelly Roll coming out. And I've been in Nashville for a long time, and I'm like, Jelly Roll? Why haven't I not heard of Jelly Roll? He goes, well, he's been working his way around the business. He's a hard-working guy. And, you know, I will say it again.
And similar background to you.
Yeah.
Very similar background to you. So, and that's...
And Jelly Roll is a great example, excuse me, of how, you know, because he went to jail. you know, and he goes back to the jails because it's the same thing. It's like nobody's different than you. Just because of circumstances, they're where they're at, and he understands that. And he can talk to them, and they go, man, he's been there. And that clicks in your brain to where you're like, you know, it's not just some rich singer or somebody coming and preaching to me about should do better, you should do this, stay off drugs, stay in school, whatever the crap is that they try to feed you. When in reality, it's just be a better person. And how can you do that with your circumstances and understand that we're all dealt a hand, but you know, whether you cheat or whatever you got, you can play that hand and play it to your best abilities, because sometimes the guy you're playing has a worse hand and you can beat them and you can win. Yep. And that's what he does. And talking with him, I was like, man, this kid is, and I still call him a kid because he's younger than me, but you know, this kid has got an amazing head on his shoulders. And I kept saying, God, I hope something would happen for him.
Yeah.
Talking to him, I mean, I remember
after he's not he's not your cookie cutter country artist, right?
Which is what we need, right? Which is what this world needs. You know, you need somebody that's not just, because when you produce, you know, I mean, look at NSYNC, right? You look at what you think is cookie cutter produced, you know, 5 guys, all different varieties, whatever you need. No, there's stories, there's history, and he is what the world needs, because he talks to people that don't have a voice. You know, he talks for people that don't have a voice.
But when he was coming up, he was not the cookie cutter, and that was not what was happening in the world around us. Like, that's not what was being successful. It was the cookie cutter. So
to see him doing so well, like, you know, I can't say it enough times that I've never met someone that deserves what they have more than that guy.
Right.
Like, that guy is.
So you saw him and you said, you were like, man, this guy, I wish he would get a break.
Get a break. And this town, you guys live here, you know, you go down to Broadway, you come in Cool Springs, you go anywhere, live music, and you hear some of these kids, and, you know, not to downplay myself at all, but I'm always like, man, I go see people at the airport that are 10 times more talented than I am. But I got a break, you know, and I got, like, you know, certain things happen for me.
You worked your butt off.
No.
Yes.
Right. I'm saying I'm not trying to downplay anything. Okay. But just saying, on a talent-wise, I see them and I'm like, I can't do what they do. Like, that's unbelievable. And yet, they're doing that on the weekends and they're working somewhere else. I mean, I was there. I worked on the weekends at Universal, you know, singing, worked during the week at Outback. I worked taking pictures at SeaWorld. I had full-time school. So
Did you get discounted Bloomin' Onions?
Oh, man. Did I? We invented the honey butter.
No, man.
But he gets on stage and he sings what song, and what was going through your mind when you hear him sing?
He did save me, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, his voice is so... The thing about country music that I've learned by being here is it's about your tone and it's about your delivery. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to be able to sing like Brian McKnight or Stevie Wonder, or guys that can really go crazy. I mean, look at Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
You know, Willie Nelson and his delivery and his tone. Yeah. It was like...
The phrasing and all that stuff. I
used to make a joke saying that Willie Nelson can't sing, but nobody can sing like Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is. I love that. And it's not that he can't sing, because he can. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. But just that you wouldn't...
He doesn't watch our podcast, Chris. You're good. Yeah. Like, Willie, we looked at who watches. It's not... Willie's not on there. Lucas might, actually.
Lucas, who listening to Lucas, like, you know, you go, oh my God, like, it's Willie.
Yes.
Younger Willie.
Yeah. Willie's next week's guest.
Willie is next week's guest?
Yeah.
Lucas
Lucas is.
I didn't realize you arranged that.
Yeah.
Nikki, thanks so much.
She just texted him, because you text Willie saying, hey, do you want to smoke a doobie with me? And he's like, what's going on, Neil? Are you okay? And you're like, well, that's the follow-up to will you be on the show?
The spidey senses go up.
It's like the one thing you don't want to do is end up on Willie's tour bus, okay? Because you just don't want to.
Why don't you want that?
You don't want to.
Well, because then you'll get drug tested.
We don't have jobs.
Not anymore, Neil.
Not anymore.
Also, we don't have jobs, Neil.
Nikki, you met Chris when?
Oh, I met Chris first time when I was
like... Oh, yeah, I met her before I met you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I was 14 years old, I think. Maybe. No, I was probably 15.
Hold on a second.
I think I was 15.
Wait, so Chris was 45 and you were 14? Yeah. Is that where we're going with that?
Not that much younger. I was definitely like 15 years old, and I was in Kingsport, Tennessee, my hometown, and NSYNC. This was like right before y'all hit it big. Y'all were Disney Channel days, I think.
I thought we were playing the stadium.
You did, but it was still in Kingsport. I mean, y'all were big, but this was like...
Kingsport Stadium different than...
Okay, so when you play the stadium, you haven't hit it big yet.
I mean, y'all were big, but y'all weren't like you ended up being
You
big.
guys were big, but I mean, you were just playing stadiums at the time.
The fact that you came to Kingsport... No.
That doesn't... You're not
No, I know that. I know.
Stop it.
That's not
We're
the point.
asking you questions,
That's
and
not
we're
the
putting
point.
you on that spot.
The point is that y'all were there, and I knew who y'all were, and my sisters and I, we were like, oh my gosh, NSYNC is here.
But I swear
What?
to God, Chris, she has that picture like ready to show people to this day.
Yeah.
If you asked her, she's using her
We'll
phone right now
edit
for
it
this,
in here.
but
Yeah.
to this day, she can pull up that picture of you and her. Like,
Yeah.
Listen, and I love Nikki to death, and the funniest thing about her is how much I knew she liked the band and how much she likes me and everything, and so much so that she's got me in some awkward situations.
How have I gotten you in awkward
One
situations?
of those awkward situations was when you were FaceTiming me. And we were having a bunch of people over.
Whoa.
I don't remember
She
this.
started FaceTiming me.
Was she in a bikini?
She just FaceTimed me again. Like, it was like 2 times in a row. Then it was like 3 times in a row. I'm like, oh, something's going on. I got to take this. And suddenly I get put on this, like, I think it was during COVID.
Yes.
And they were doing these.
That was awesome.
Chats. Okay, but what I'm saying is, I get on this chat, and it's Peyton Manning. It's
T. Martin.
Who's
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. All these people.
Me.
Her and me, right? And she goes, so I've got this group of friends from Tennessee, and we're all just pulling famous people that we know. And I called you, and I'm looking at the screen with all these people going, Nikki, you need to get out. Like, you need to get out a little more, because my point being that you were like, oh, I'm going to call Chris and get him on it. And I get on, everybody's like, oh.
That is not true.
Who's that guy?
That is not true.
That
is not true at all.
Just...
Okay, so back to how I met you.
So the only thing that wasn't fitting into that call was Nikki, as far as I'm concerned.
100%.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
She was in there holding court.
T. Martin called me, and I was like, T, am I really the only person in your phone that you can call? Like,
by the way, I still have a T. Martin jersey.
I do too. I love him.
But with the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's still cool.
I have my Steelers jersey.
Absolutely.
Because he got drafted, then I was like, oh, I love Tennessee. I'm going to go for him.
See,
T. Martin
you're a VFL. Okay, so back to how we met. So you come to Kingsport, you're playing in our stadium, and Damon's been at my high school, and my dad was running the chamber, and that's who put on that big fun fest. We're hanging out, we're watching the show, and afterwards I go to a party with my girlfriends. I get a call from my dad, and...
You were 15?
Yeah.
Partying at 15?
What partying? Is like a loose term.
No, she's got a...
Not my dad. Come pick me up.
Yeah.
You're just now hearing about her sketchy past.
Right.
Chris, okay, there's a lot of stuff about Bikini Nikki that you don't know. Bikini Nikki is she's crafty. Mm-hmm.
So my phone rings and it says my dad calling. I answer it and it's Justin Timberlake, and he says, "Hey Nikki, it's Justin." I'm like, "Justin who?" He's like, "Justin with the band. We're over here at your high school. We're playing basketball."
Is that why you married a Justin?
Yes, that was it. That was it.
Hey, it's Justin. I know I'm dating him. No, a different one.
So he said, "Come play basketball with us." And I was like, "What? We're playing basketball? What do you mean?" And my dad was like, "Yeah, come over here. We're at DB. We're playing basketball. He opened up the gym. I guess y'all wanted to go play in our stadium, or in our basketball court." So I went in there and I was wearing like 2-inch heels. I thought I was it. And I remember I played basketball with y'all.
In 2-inch heels.
Yeah.
2-inch heels.
Yeah. Well, playing is a very loose term.
I have
well,
I think I went like
2-inch
this.
heels for Nikki is like 6-inch for most people there.
With that story.
What's that?
And the fact that you just FaceTimed your dad earlier, and he goes, "Yeah, the only one that was any good out there was Timberlake."
He was joking.
I'm gonna kill him.
He was
I was
joking.
like, first of all, I foul like nobody can foul. I'm like
so
Dennis Rodman.
No, my
his son
dad.
got the athletic ability. Chris did not.
What are you talking about?
Nash is a star, apparently.
He is
First
a star.
of all, what are you talking about? In fact, Justin even said, because my wife always was like, "Oh, he got his athletics from me," and Justin will defend me because I played.
I believe
played
it.
Hockey. I played football. Didn't play soccer. I played soccer one time and kept getting offsides and didn't understand the rules. So I quit. but hockey, basketball, baseball, football, and I ran track one year. Ran the hurdles.
Ran right over.
If you understood that
barreled the ball down.
Junior year of high school, I hit 5 foot, 100 pounds. I was a late bloomer.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like Nash's. I think I was my son's size when I was in like 6th grade.
Oh my gosh.
So hurdles was. I was like, man, I'll just run through them.
So you did.
It was basically a high jump.
In my mind, I have trouble picturing you doing hurdles.
I do too.
I don't know why.
Let's set it up in your backyard. Can we set up some hurdles?
Yes,
backyard?
in the backyard.
hold on.
I happen to have a whole bunch of hurdles in my
Neil?
garage.
You just get on your hands and knees, and he'll hurdle over you.
Two knee surgeries and, a lot of other stuff.
You still got it. You still got
I
it.
don't know.
You still got
I don't know. I get winded doing this pop show.
I'm actually glad you came over today because I have a bunch of your stuff that I borrowed that I got to give it back.
What did you borrow from him?
I have jackets. I have generators. I have all sorts of stuff that I've borrowed. Yeah, man, I have a generator.
Oh my gosh!
Do you
Well, I
realize?
could use that a couple weeks ago when Danielle was on TV saying, "Get your safe place."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, what if a power goes out?"
We're gonna load it into your truck when
And
you
you
leave.
had it this whole time.
Well, he loaned it to me when we lose power in this neighborhood.
Oh, I know.
It's gone for a long time,
They
and
don't
he was
have
nice enough to
anything
do
in this
that.
neighborhood.
Nothing.
They got a little guy that keeps running by on a bicycle pedaling. You need more? All right, and then running back out.
That little guy's Neil.
Yeah.
It's Neil. That's
your
Neil.
new job.
That's just wrong.
That's why he left the news.
That's just wrong.
I do like the goatee, though. Do you like the goatee?
Yeah, I do. At first, I was not sure, but I like it now.
Oh, no,
yeah.
there's no not sure
Yeah.
to me. I was
No,
like,
it's working.
It's a stud. It hides your face more. It's great.
Should I do it too?
You know,
thought you
it's trying to
I haven't gotten waxed in a while.
trying
That's
to
the
hide
problem.
the third chin.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I said when I trimmed this up. I was like, oh, man, now you can see how tiny my chin is.
What are you talking about? You have a great chin.
I have a little. No, I don't. I have a little baby. I have my wife has a cousin, which is crazy because my wife's cousin, Joey. His name's Joey.
Joey?
He looks like if you stood the three of us together, you would think he was my brother.
Oh, really?
More than
So
he
she
was my
married her
wife's
cousin.
Well, when they
Was
see
there
us
always a
out,
little-
Sometimes they think we're brother and sister.
Really?
So that's hot.
Definition of
I'm
hot's
from a
different than
trailer
mine.
with weird
Oh,
stuff,
my
all right?
gosh.
What do you expect?
Yeah.
What do you expect? So what else are you working on?
Man, I've got 2 tours that I do.
Yeah.
I'm on a Pop 2000 tour, which basically is.
Oh, we know. We know. We love it. Or I
Have
love
you
it.
been to it?
No.
Well, then how do you love it?
Well, I've seen like clips online.
Oh,
Social media.
Yeah.
Social media. We know if
my
there's
friend requested you. Yeah, no.
Who's on that with you?
So it's Ryan Cabrera, it's BB Mac. We've had Sugar Ray, we've had Smash Mouth, then O-Town, LFO, and myself. And I host it and then introduce all the bands. And then when O-Town comes out, they bring out Brad Fischetti from LFO, and they do some LFO songs. And at the end, they bring me out, and we do a bunch of NSYNC songs.
I love it.
And I saw the show. It's fun.
It's so fun,
It's a
I
lot
bet.
of fun. Chris is like the perfect host for something like that.
Oh, my
right?
gosh,
'Cause
yeah.
You put Chris in any situation, and he's just fine.
I mean,
right?
those are the days of music. Those were the days.
Well, and that's, walking out, that's what I talk about. And we were kind of talking about it earlier about MTV and how it's music, television.
Yeah.
TRL, and kids are like, what? MTV isn't just ridiculousness and 16 and pregnant.
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
like-
No.
But
It was
it's
so
fun
good.
because a lot of the people that come out to it are the kids that came to our shows or came to
Mm-hmm.
their shows. And when you're a kid, it's like, oh my God, look at that T-shirt. Dad, please buy me that shirt. Please buy me. Now they're like, man, I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to buy all the merch
Yes.
I want. I'm going to get meet and greets. I'm going to have fun. So that's fun. And then I do another thing, which is me, Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees, who actually, believe it or not, went to junior high with.
Stop it.
No way.
Yeah, weird story.
He's from Clarion, Pennsylvania?
No, weird story. I moved to Ohio and went to junior high and high school in Ohio. And when we first moved to Ohio, we went to this really big school called Perry, which is near Massillon, Canton area. And we were both in the same musical, and he was a year behind me, but I think I was his understudy because I came late, and it was like, I think we had thousands of kids in our graduating class. So he was a year behind me. But we were talking about it years ago, and we're like, oh my God, you went to Pfeiffer? And he's like, I went to Pfeiffer. What year? Oh my God, we were there at the same
Stop
time.
it.
Were you in Angels Aware? Yeah. Who were you? Gabriel. I was too. No way. So
Is this
so
a
I-
widely known story? Is this
That's
like a,
wild.
Is this
I don't think so.
Right? That's a crazy story.
Yeah, but Jeff and I have been friends for a very long time.
And you both went on to be in boy bands.
Yeah. Well, and we didn't know each other at the time.
That is
either.
wild.
But the fact that he went on in 90 Degrees, I went
Yeah.
on and sang. But Howie from Backstreet
Yeah.
were in choir in college together.
Oh my gosh.
So we both went to Valencia Community College, and he was in choir. In fact, but that's kind of that one's not as far reaching because that's kind of how the bands worked out. Because when they were putting the Backstreet Boys, Lou put the Backstreet Boys, Lou Pearlman put the Backstreet Boys together, and he went in and said, "I'm looking for this type of person, whatever." So Howie would come in a choir, and he said, Lou wants blonde hair, blue-eyed kid for this band.
No, you fit that. That sounds just like
because of whatever it was, Lou being Lou, that's what he was looking for. So he would come in and said, brown hair or black hair, brown eye, obnoxious. No, that's not what we need. I think I'd line shaved in my head. All
dreadlocks. Yeah. This is
so it was before the
baby dreads.
Oh, before the dreadlocks.
But he got this guy Charlie, who was in my quartet, who was blonde hair, blue eyed, to go and be in the Backstreet Boys. When he quit the Backstreet Boys, Charlie called me and said, "Hey, this guy Lou wants to put together another band, but he doesn't want to do it. He wants me and you to do it." So that's when him and I starting the band, and then he quit, and then I had to keep it going.
It's an amazing documentary that you
in.
participated in.
Like 50 million documentaries.
Right.
Where's Charlie now?
I talked to him not too long ago. Great guy. He's a really great guy. But I don't know.
Not in music anymore?
I don't think he's in music.
Is it appropriate to ask a question like you did Trolls and the guys got back together again and everyone was like, is this the sign of things to come? Is anything? That's the question, right? Do you get that anymore? Or
no, I don't get that at all.
Never.
Okay, well, you got it. So what's your
How many
answer?
times have you gotten it today? Like since you woke up? Probably 45?
16.
Okay, 16. That's not bad. It's going down.
Well, considering is this May 2nd?
Yes.
It's going to be May.
It's going to be May. I'm like, I know. Oh, there's a new meme. Oh, we're on the news. Haven't heard that one yet.
What do you do when people send those to you? Do you like humor them? Like LOL?
He gives a little laughy face.
Do you get a laugh?
Isn't it funny too when you do that? You're always like I'll be sitting there like somebody sent something like ha ha. You type ha ha. You type ha ha. So what are they thinking? They're like you're out there going ha ha. Write that down. Right? No, you're going.
That's the equivalent of writing back K.
K. That is K.
K is.
Or if you thumbs it up, that's. You might as well flip it off. He hates me.
I'm starting to learn that.
Oh my gosh.
Learn that if now that you can put things on people's text.
Oh my gosh.
I don't text that much. I don't like my phone.
So that's why you haven't responded to anything.
Yesterday I went to soccer practice and I'd left my phone at the house and I came home. My wife was like, "Oh my God, you didn't have your phone." I'm like, "So great."
Right.
Yeah. I love
You could be without your phone and be totally fine.
I don't care.
No FOMO. Like what if nobody?
Only if I'm like bored and I'm like, I could play a game on here, because doing in the business that I'm in now with the traveling and there's tons of hurry up and wait. There's tons of downtime where it's like if I'm warming up my voice or doing anything, nobody's there. If I'm sitting at an airport, it's like I like to have games on my phone. So people are like, "Man, you play a lot of games on your phone." I'm like, "Yeah, it passes the time."
What games?
I don't know.
Candy Crush?
No, I don't even know what they are, honestly. I've played games for probably like 6 years that I couldn't even tell you what it's called.
Fruit Ninja?
It's just one. I don't know.
I don't know any.
He loves to play Nash at upstairs.
Oh, yeah.
He said they're big into that. Big dad son stuff there. It's like, isn't that kind of cool?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, best purchase I've ever done. You're out of the boat now, but you could still be in this boat.
Yeah.
Having a young one.
I'm in.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Sprinter van.
Okay.
I got a Sprinter. You can use it anytime you need it.
Okay.
By the way.
So
honestly, if you guys, it just we only use it certain times or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, 2 TVs in there. It's got a big couch, seats, a bathroom, a kitchen, all this stuff.
Road trips?
We go road trips.
Oh, how fun.
Go to soccer games, whatever it is. We did the soccer game last weekend. He had a game at like 11 and then a game at 3. So in between, everybody's like, "Oh, I guess we'll find a restaurant around here or something." I'm like, "Yeah." We went out. Guy beside us left, so we popped out the side.
Oh, how fun!
All the boys got on. We're watching TV, and the parents were outside drinking. It was fun.
That's the life.
It is like it's a mini tour bus.
But can you believe this life?
No, it's weird.
Let me ask you, how many nights have you spent sleeping in the van in the driveway? Due to strife.
I should just put a thing on the back that just says doghouse.
Yeah.
I'm in the doghouse.
Because I feel like if I had one of those things, I would spend half the nights in.
Wait, speaking of, how is JoJo?
JoJo?
Yeah.
The dog? She's good.
She's so
annoying.
cute. No.
I think
she's a high energy dog.
Yeah,
she's an angel.
I think she's a little heavy.
Why are you talking shit about her?
Well, because she's not here. Layla, though.
She's our 14th listener.
Great dog.
This, you know what?
Hi, baby.
Mm-hmm. But these dogs are high maintenance dogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a princess.
I almost brought Reggie White. I almost brought him.
Your dog's name is Reggie White.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Did Peyton die?
No, my sister has Peyton.
You really had a Peyton? I knew it.
My sister does.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they name them after celebrities. Who was it? Like?
We had a jarhead and a grunt, but we were gonna name him either. Reggie White was the front runner, and what was the other one?
Reggie White was the front runner.
Obviously. Kingston was gonna be another one. Kingston, Pike, and Knoxville, but we said that's a little bit too it sounds like somebody named their kid that. You
work with Wags and Walks, right?
Yes, I love them.
Yeah,
they're amazing. Catherine is an angel.
Yeah, we got JoJo from Wags.
Oh,
I name my dogs. If it's a boy dog, we name it after a singer.
Love that.
And if it's a girl dog, we name it after a song.
So
JoJo is Jolene.
Oh, okay.
We call her JoJo.
Oh, okay.
So we've had Jolene, we've had a Layla.
Because I was thinking Casey and JoJo.
We had a Billie Jean.
Oh, okay.
These are my girl dogs. We had a Billie Jean. We had a Roxanne. We had a...
So when you call her in the night, you're like,
is that how you said it? Yeah.
You don't have to poop in the bathroom.
Have you had a Caroline?
No, not yet.
Maybe that's next.
Not yet.
Boy dogs, we've had a Busta. We had a... You remember.
She's mad.
We had Lennon.
Yep.
And I think those are my two boy.
Do you know my sister names her chickens after rappers?
Really?
She has a Missy Elliott, a Tupac, a Chingy, R.I.P. They ate Chingy. Biggie, and...
Shouldn't it be Tupac instead of Tupac? I'm just saying.
Eminem.
No, they don't have an Eminem. Yeah.
Eminem
That's
is by far...
Is he your favorite?
One of my... Oh, man.
No,
Even though he calls me on a song...
I love him, too.
Man, he just... I mean, there's a style now.
Wait, what song does he call you out in?
Are you serious?
No, I'm serious.
Chris Kirkpatrick gets your ass kicked?
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought it was a different... I thought it was a different Chris Kirkpatrick.
Yeah. I did, too.
Yeah. It might have been, actually. I got like 3 in my phone.
That was like early college days for me. I mean, I used to listen to that album.
Oh, man, he's...
Nonstop.
He is absolutely amazing. And my son...
You were singing it when you came in the driveway.
Does he really?
I know. My son loves him. And the coolest... The thing about him that I love is the fact that he's a really great guy.
Yeah.
But people look at what he says and you're like, I think people say worse things sometimes about people behind their backs. Mm-hmm. And just because he says them and people go, oh, well, he said it and he's got a record doing it and whatever, they call him out. But, he does a lot for his community. He's just
oh, my gosh,
he's a great, and you'd probably see me and go, that guy's a dick.
He's one of the most talented rappers of all time.
Well, but his style, what he
Layla,
does
what's wrong?
is like a whole, like if you look at all the Twitter, YouTube, TikTok rappers that are out there now doing their thing, so many of them bite Tupac, they bite Biggie, they bite Kendrick, they bite these other guys, but the majority almost bite Eminem, like the way, because before Eminem, the styles were different by what you said and how good you were. He's the guy that been on things saying that he can rhyme the word orange, which is unrhymable. He can rhyme it because of his delivery and what he says. It's like, man, and it's cool because again with the Jelly Roll stuff, Jelly's worked with him.
Yeah, and
he's come from the same background, so. He's grown. He knows what it's like to live that lifestyle and,
come from nothing.
Be that person, and he doesn't care, which is great.
So if
but don't say that
Nash has been around.
Things about it.
No, I won't. We this won't.
Nash
I have to have a grudge.
Only 14 people listen to this.
Okay.
Yeah. You're good. This is the witness protection program that you're in right now. Perfect. You're good. But if Nash met, Nash has
Jimmy
been around.
Hoffa, what's up?
Nash has been around adults his whole life, right? So if he met Eminem, what would he be like? Like, what would he fan out? Or Nash, yeah. Or is
beyond fan out.
Really? That's his peak?
His probably first line to Eminem would be like, dude, I love when you call my dad out in the
song.
Stop it. I've thought the same thing so many times. I think the freaky thing to me is, hoping that he really doesn't hate me. I don't know. But hoping he doesn't hate me because I would love to introduce him to my kid and be like, yeah, I'm that parent that lets my kid listen to Eminem. I'm like, just don't say those words when you get to school or whatever, because he idolizes, he adores
Okay, so we need to make this happen. I mean, I feel like you could make a phone call and make that happen.
He could.
What would he do? Like, are you kidding me?
Chris knows everybody.
I know.
Chris could make Chris. I would love to look through his contacts in his phone.
Let's do it and call someone.
You know, the contacts thing is funny because
that's what I did with you.
Yeah, it is.
When I FaceTimed you,
that was because you just thought of me right away.
Well, I did, but you were in my contacts.
Now it's coming. No, I'm kidding. But the funny thing is, like, being, doing what I've done. There's this other thing. Like, we also started doing comic book conventions. Because we were in we started because we were in this movie, this like Dead 7 movie, which was like this weird movie that if I wasn't in, I would have totally watched because I like real bad sci-fi, like, just weird movies like that. And because of that, they started going, hey, you guys should do a comic book convention. Once we started doing those, lines out the door.
Stop it.
And you get, it's like a giant meet and greet is what it is. And people come in and it's so much fun. I love to talk to everybody. But because of those, you go to these conventions for a weekend and you're spending your time with everybody else at the convention or thinking back to when we were big, who was big that you hung out with. So it's like, if you go through my phone, it's like, man, you could get the weirdest group of people, like somebody that you'd be like, wait, how do you even know each other, like type stuff, which is cool, which is fun.
Yeah.
So he's like that with our friend Mitch. Like Mitch and Chris have this.
Mitch is totally like that.
They are connectors.
Yeah.
Right? Connectors of human beings.
You are. You're a connector. That's a really good way to put it.
Mitch is a really big connector.
But listening to you two talk and dropping names, like of people that you know.
Which is why my podcast was called Name Drop, because that's when Brian and I first came up with it. We were just sitting out there talking, and all we were doing was dropping names, and you're like, at some point it's embarrassing.
No, you don't do it in a douchey way, though, which is really hard to do.
But you're still doing it, though.
It's not douchey when you do it, though.
Earlier, and it's a fine line there, too. Yeah. Like, when do you start talking to somebody going, oh, yeah, so my buddy Steve was, like, out, and you're like, oh, I know Steve. No, Stevie Wonder. It's like, you don't
That's
know
douchey.
when you do it like douchey, or when you're telling a story.
Yeah.
And you name like 8 hugely famous people, and you're like, there's been so many times where I've been talking with, if it's been with my kid at an event or something with the other parents, and they're like, oh, and you tell a story, and I leave going, oh my God, I probably sounded like such a douche.
No.
Talking about, oh yeah, Mark Wahlberg or so-and-so, whoever it is.
I don't think people think
I do that whenever I name drop him.
I was going to say,
and everyone's like, looks at me like, oh, okay, you're friends with Chris Kirkpatrick. That's so wonderful.
You're talking about my wife.
What?
Oh, you're talking about Chris Kirkpatrick.
We should do that. We should just go through Chris's phone and just start FaceTiming people.
That would be humiliating.
Oh.
Well, the thunderstorms have arrived here officially, everybody.
Either
so
that, or somebody has a shopping cart upstairs.
Possibly.
Do we need to stay in the storm shelter?
Carrie does rearrange the furniture every day, so there is the possibility. Which was very funny because when I told her that we have a guest, and it's Chris, she cleaned last night, and then she woke up this morning and cleaned again. And I was like, did someone break in and have a party? Is there a reason that you're cleaning again?
It's
I mean, what's going on here? She's just like, it's got to be right. It's got to be right.
Well, it also probably eases her anxiety. Are you like that? Or
that's what my phone games do.
Eases your anxiety.
It's because all the games I realize that I play on my phone are for OCD.
Yeah.
Because they're games where I can go
and align things.
Something starts out and I have to clean this whole thing or something like that. And then it's clean and I'm like, oh, my brain goes, okay, it's the reason I meditate. It's the reason
you meditate.
Oh, yeah, I do a lot of things. Because when you have this...
I do a lot of things. Whoa, Nikki, you don't understand. I do a lot of things.
Let's get into it.
I was known back in high school for doing a lot of things.
I don't know how
the other guys wouldn't do.
You did show up with a bandage around your arm.
Oh, we have 9 minutes of storage left, everybody. So just keep that in mind, okay?
You meditate. I want to hear about you meditating. How do you go into the zone? Are you like unbreakable when you're in it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I've gotten to a point where, I can go into a zone. Because the thing that I learned about meditation, when I first got into it, I thought people go into a zone and you can smack them and say what you want and they won't know anything. It's not true. Meditation is hearing. Like I could meditate right now and I could hear you talking, but it's hearing you talk and letting it go one ear out the other.
Oh, that's what I do with Neil every day.
Well, hold on a second.
So I did on the news.
No, I totally took that. I didn't. No high fives are seen in there. Okay, no high fives are just sitting right there.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard her say.
I know.
It's true.
Yeah, she's not funny very often. Okay, so when she does it, it's like it stands out.
That's a good one.
So one ear and out the other.
It's been good. Like it's. I went through a phase where it was like, Zen stuff. You know, traveling so much, you have so much time that you're like, man, I got to figure out some way to focus and turn it around. And if you're tired, turn it around or whatever. And the meditating's helped. People do yoga. I've done a little yoga and all that stuff. And
yogurt.
You know, I think it's old people stuff.
I do yoga. I don't think that's old people stuff.
I think it's old people.
I think it's old people stuff.
I do hot yoga.
And what I mean by that isn't that it's old people stuff. Everything. I'm just saying it was old for me to go. Oh man. You know, I have a finite time on this.
Yes.
Stuff's starting to break now that was easily.
Yeah.
You know, I could go out and drink till 5 o'clock in the morning and wake up and turn around and do something.
Yeah.
Now I drink till 8 o'clock at night, and 2 days I'm out. So it's like thinking about all that. You're only laughing because you do it.
No, I feel that too.
I have no idea what you're talking about
it's
there.
Like, it's like with the dietary stuff, with what I eat. With my training, with whatever it is, it's like you have to start to wrap your head around your mortality or wrap your head around your aging, and you can't be that person that you were. And doing these shows, you know, I think I warm up my voice for this Pop 2000 tour more than I did with NSYNC back in the day. You know, because it's like I have to now. You have to keep your instrument, you know, or keep what you do because it doesn't rebound as easy, and stuff starts to break easier, and you can't just wake up and go, oh, I feel great today. You know, you wake up now and you're like, oh,
what's going to hurt today?
These tours are actually a workout too, though. Like you're like dancing.
Yeah.
It's not just standing there.
Yeah, it's doing the dances.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I was talking about with Jeff Timmons, which I didn't get into too.
Yeah.
Jeff and then the Eric Estrada.
Oh yeah.
We do these symphony shows.
Yes.
And it's about 2 hours long, and we go out and we've played with Pittsburgh, Vancouver,
oh wow,
Grand Rapids, all these symphonies, and they play the music, and we have a band too, and we perform each other's songs.
Oh, that's cool.
And we do a bunch of, like, we'll do Boys to Men, we do some Backstreet Boys songs, and it's 2 hours of us doing these songs with a symphony.
Oh, that's really cool.
Is, you know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so cool because when you're up there performing them, you know, when you write songs, when I write songs, you know, it's like I'll be like, oh man, I need some strings here. So you do your thing and you play the strings on the keys, and that's how you get your sound. That's what you're listening to. You know, it's like when you hear the real strings and everything, it's like, this is
beautiful.
what we wrote it for, or what you do it for. So.
I'm sort of bummed out right now because we're running out of memory on the card. I wanted to go for a couple hours, but we have an hour down.
So what do we do?
But I don't want it just to end abruptly. I want to say thanks to
shirts off.
Shirts off. Nikki, go ahead. You first. I wanted to properly thank him for doing this because we appreciate it so much. I mean, it's like you're a great friend, but it's sometimes a little intimidating interviewing a friend, right? Because it's different, right?
Yeah.
But Chris can roll with all the punches, so thank you, buddy.
Well, yeah, it is because it's like there's other stuff that we can't talk about.
I can see you guys looking at each other periodically, like, no, we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot on that one.
Pivot, get away from that subject real quick.
Well, the fact is that every guest from here is just downhill. We started at the top, Nick. So there we go. So
I always say when somebody comes up to me, normally if somebody comes up and they're like, oh my God, I was such a big fan of the band. And they're like, I've met you and I go, Joey. And they go, I'm Joey. You're right, and Joey. And I'm like, well, it only gets better from that. You know, because me and Joey are the morons of the group.
That's not true at all.
Me more of a moron than him. But.
That's not true.
There was one time someone handed Chris the camera and asked to take a picture with me.
Stop it.
There's just one time. You remember that?
Yeah, but your sister was so nice. I couldn't say no to her.
Oh, Theo.
I did actually see the guys. I've seen in the last month and a half now, I think. I saw all 4 of the guys at different times, so it was cool.
Not all at once?
No, not all at once. I was out on the road with Justin. I saw JC in Orlando, and then I went to New York and saw Joey in his play, and Lance came up to it. So it was weird, like within a 1 week period.
That's kind of fun, though.
Do y'all have a text thread?
Oh, yeah.
Just the boys?
Yeah.
How often does it pop off?
It's called Instinct now.
No, it's not. Are you joking?
No, I'd show you, but we're filming.
You're being serious?
Yeah, I'll show you afterwards.
How often does it pop off?
Pop off.
It depends. Sometimes it'll be a couple times a day. Sometimes it'll be a couple times a week. Sometimes it'll be a couple times every other week.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. If one of us is doing something,
yeah,
we all support and are
love
hey,
that.
Hey,
all right.
JC, I saw you doing.
So it looks like we are going to record until it just stops. Okay,
yeah,
so
why
this
not?
podcast is just going to end abruptly at some point there.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to end it right now. Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate it, brother.
You're the best.
Yeah, awesome.
You're the best.
All right, Nikki, start working on next week's guest. Okay.
Chris, can you come back? Are you available?
Hold on. I'm going to. We'll done. Everyone turn and wave out that window.
Let's just bring Chris back for another week.
All right.
You can just be the third host.